Hello, everyone. This is Rudmeela Nawsheen. I'm founder and CEO of ConfigVR and ConfigRbot. Both are located in San Jose, California. I'm a Bangladeshi American. I've lived most of my life in the US. I've done my undergrad from San Jose State University. I studied electrical engineering, and then I did my master's in digital multimedia and communication, which falls under software engineering. It's been almost 18 years since I moved to the US, but right now I'm actually working from both countries, and I'm trying to have an local office in Bangladesh, which I've been operating for a couple of years. My first venture is ConfigVR. We do all kind of animation, renders, modeling, 3D modeling, augmented reality, virtual reality, and my second company, which is ConfigRbot, is a robotics and AI company. We work with industrial automation, and there are different kinds of robot prototypes that we have already built. So our robots are actually customized robots that we cater to our clients. Today, I would like to first of all thank Bangladesh Brand Forum and the Bangladesh Innovation Conclave program to invite me as a keynote speaker. It's a huge honor for me, and I'm really looking forward to the summit, and I'm hoping that it'll be a great achievement from the team. So today I'm actually going to be talking about one topic, which is leveraging innovation for the growth of Bangladesh. So I'll just go ahead and jump into my topic, and then I have a small presentation that I would like to present to you all today. And it's mainly going to focus of where Bangladesh is leading as a tech country. So, like many aspiring developing countries, Bangladesh faces many significant development challenges. And the first one that I think is to develop human capital for helping society to keep improving the quality of living standards and in a sustainable manner. The second one is to increase income generating capability at the bottom of the pyramid and creating employment for educated youths. These are the many challenges that we see on our daily lives. I've recently been back in Bangladesh for the last couple of 4 months, and I've actually been working closely with ICT as a mentor, and I'm also a policymaker for the e-commerce industry from Ministry of Commerce. And I'm very impressed to actually see the growth and where Bangladesh is heading to. So these are the real world problems that I've seen in Bangladesh nowadays. And I think for the startup scene, it's very important for us to focus on the challenges that we see on daily basis. So I think the very first one, as I said, is to develop the human capital. Second is to increase the income generating capability of the bottom of the pyramid from the grassroots level and creating employment for educated youths. And the lack of proper planning and having the solid infrastructure, I think we have to work on that part as well. So there have been multiple approaches in addressing them, and starting from microcredit, expansion of education in rural communities, development of infrastructure, establishing economic zones for attracting foreign direct investments and skill training. Through my company, we have actually introduced a lot of educational robots. It's called the STEM robots, which we work to actually make the students and the young kids be enthusiastic towards robotics and Python. So through these robots, we're actually trying to train young kids to do more, get into more robotics. And as I say, Python is one of the backbone language for software engineering. So we as a nation are trying our best to make more skilled, trained children and skilled trained youth. So, however, there's a scope of addressing all these challenges through the engagement of our teaching and research capacity for scaling up grassroots innovations. And as Bangladesh prepares to tread the new territories of middle income economy, we must formulate our strategies. And we have to analyze our current strength as a labor intensive manufacturing economy and think of the value addition we will be making to shift to high value added innovative economy. So in terms of innovation, I still think that Bangladesh is actually ranked at the bottom low. But despite the rank over the last couple of years, multiple innovations and initiatives have been taking place collectively or separately as different companies or by various ecosystem members like the government, the public sector, startups, and private sector. So academic institution, financial investors, and all come in to play a role together in the startup scene. High growth, disruptive innovation companies such as in e-commerce, ride sharing, logistics sectors have secured successful international funds, investments. For example, I think Shahoj actually got 50 million from Golden Gate Ventures, and Patao got around $12 million, and Chowdal was got funded from IFC for about 5.5 million. So these disruptive innovation is a critical strategy that can lead to our country's dramatic economic development. And we do need more innovations like these. Such companies can actually identify our country and put us on the global map. And one of my main vision for starting both my companies in Silicon Valley is to put Bangladesh on the Silicon Valley map as a tech company. Um, so the government has been actively working on many of these development areas. So the government can support the private sector by building special innovation zones, which I know as I'm working with ICT there and High Tech Park, they're coming up with different incentives for foreign investors as well. So the infrastructures across the country, selecting a few potential sectors can be an initial phase. And I think, let's say RMG, leather, pharmaceuticals, agricultural, IT, these are some of the many potential sectors we have, which we can try to supplement further for greater industrial growth. And if we can cultivate the appetite of the local players for such innovative-led growth, then the possibilities would be endless. So with the limited resources that we have, I think our local industries did come a long way, and it caters to the international demands in addition to local consumer needs. So with the right kind of push and support, we'll be able to achieve a lot more. For Bangladesh, it is crucial that we identify and effectively implement the right strategies to navigate the next 20 years, which will determine the overall achievement of our country. And our Honorable Prime Minister do have a vision of the 2042 as a digital Bangladesh. And I think the work is in progress, even though it has started. We have to take baby steps and work our way towards it. Local agents and local angels like investors and institutional investors need to actually upgrade their risk appetite. We as a nation need to be more adaptive to technology and automation. In my recent visit, I have actually seen that there are a lot of investors who are trying to invest in tech stuff, and I was really impressed to see these people being so enthusiastic and so proactive about being adaptive. But I think we need more and more investors to be brave enough to take risk for technology, because that's where our world is headed to. Automation is the future. Robotics, AI, IoT, machine learning, these are the fields that we need to focus on. But there's a gap between what we are planning to do and what the reality is. Most people, I think we have to fill up that gap so we can have a ladder to go up to the dreams that we have for Bangladesh in the future. I think there's lack of public funding, and there's an industry disconnect. And these are the reasons behind academic institutions failing to produce the right talents, because the lack of research and development and skilled talents are being a problem in our daily lives. And as a result, these students are failing to deliver in the job sector and creating a massive challenge for the business ecosystem to access quality talent from the local market. So the road ahead will expose us to great challenges, but the road will also take us to a lot of endless possibilities, and we have unshared prosperity. So we have bold aspirations and we know the direction we are heading to, but we need proper guidance and mentorship and support to take Bangladesh where we plan to take it. For today, I have made a small presentation about my work and where the robotics and the AI market is, because I work mainly with robots. We build robots, and my main plan is to build robots from Bangladesh. Even if we don't make it, we want to assemble it from Bangladesh, and then I want to produce it from Silicon Valley, San Jose, California, and have the global market target where the robots, which will be made or assembled in Bangladesh, will be sold globally. So right now, I would like to go ahead and start my presentation. So I'm going to start my share my screen. So right now I'm going to talk about the robotics future. So with advances in robotics and artificial intelligence continuing to surprise us, there's actually probably not a single industry being untouched by these technologies. So the robotics market, for instance, is growing faster than many of us would have expected. The global robotics market has been valued to at 27.73 billion in 2020 and is expected to reach USD 74.1 billion by 2026. So registering, so that's a huge growth during the period from 21 to 26. So curbing the COVID-19 involved in utilization of various robot technologies, hygienic demands opened the new niche for service robots. ConfigRbot has already built two different COVID robots where we have UV sterilization robot, which sterilizes your space. So I always say that COVID has been very distressful, but it has been a bliss, like a blessing for a lot of innovation services like e-commerce sectors. Many people has got into online businesses and they have flourished pretty well. So as a result, many manufacturers have registered new disinfection robots, and AI is also developing even faster. So the growth for AI is even larger than the robotics market. So AI is developing from 700 billion in 2017 to 1.2 trillion in 2018 and is expected to be worth 3.2 trillion by 2022. And clearly both robotics and AI are powerful markets, and the combination of these two technologies can change our lives for the better. I always say that people kind of, every webinar I get the questions that if robots going to take over, AI is going to take over. I always say that's really far off from where we are right now. And what we build are collaborative bots. I call it cobots that's going to collaborate with the human so that they can make their lives much more easier and more efficient. And what my vision is not to take away jobs from our laborers, but to help them assist with machines. I think that automation is very important for the future, and we need to be very adaptive to it, because without automation, industrial automation, we are going to fall behind, because every other country where our competitors are using robots for automation, and automation softwares, all kinds of different tools should be used and applied to daily lives to make our lives easier. And different kind of IoT devices, robots should be part of our life. So this is the global robotics market and the growth, how it's going. I'm focusing mainly on robotics and AI because that's what I work with. And I really want people of Bangladesh to get more and more comfortable with this whole knowledge of the robotics market, the AI market, because that's how I think we can educate the ecosystem and prep our youth for the future. So the Bangladesh market, so garments in the last 7 years, Bangladesh garment industry has increased its annual revenue from $19 billion to 34 billion, which is an 80% rise. This makes the market the second largest exporter of garments in the world, and the sector accounting for 80% of Bangladesh's total export earnings, which is, I think, is a huge number. And my focus from ConfigRbot is industrial automation with customized robots. Education sector is huge. I think I spoke about it earlier too, that we have STEM education robots through which I want to educate the youth, the teenagers from a very early age, kids from a very early age, to get into robotics and AI and learn how to code. I think it's very important for the future, and I would request all the parents to inspire your children to get into technology. International collaboration is required to help educate Bangladesh's student population, which is around 29 million, approximately 20% of the total population. And there's a huge scope for technical training. And for that reason, we have started our own training center. We try to give a lot of machine learning classes, robotic classes, AI tool classes, basic AR, VR classes can be fun. I want more. Right now, where the world has gone with internet, we all can educate ourselves very easily. A Google search is all that we need to do. So if someone wants to have an income, all they need to do is find a specific area where they're interested, and if that person thinks that it's a field that they would like to pursue, I think they can do tons of free classes that's available online and work on those through Viber, not Viber, through Fiverr, and then there's Upwork, there's multiple platforms where any freelancers can work on different projects like content management, YouTube videos. There are lots and lots of fields that people can actually stay at home and have an income from building content. So there are a lot of fields that we can work in, and all we need to do is find our interest, be passionate about that, and try to make a career out of it, or an income from it, or maybe a side income from it. So we have an army of talent with the right skills. We can easily compete with the world and take our country ahead globally. So there's huge shortage of skilled machine learning engineers, data scientists, robotics engineers, developers, and the list goes on and on. Every day, even in Silicon Valley, we see there's a huge field for research, and there's a lot of machine learning engineers missing, data scientists missing, and even if they are there and available, it's very expensive to hire them because they have a specified skill set. So there's a huge area where people can actually focus on, because there's a huge demand for these kind of education. So let's go move on to the agricultural field. So close to 50% of Bangladesh's population is primarily employed in agriculture, with more than 70% of its land dedicated to growing crops. Major crops cultivated include rice, jute, wheat, oil seeds. 70% of the land area is devoted to it, and 17.5% share of agricultural in the GDP. So if you can find farmers with assisted automation, they can fully commercialize their production. We are also trying to focus on blockchain to help farmers through different software technologies. Healthcare is a huge sector. Assistant surgeries, disinfecting rooms, dispensing medication, keeping company. These are a lot of areas where the healthcare sector can be focused on. My plan is to build robots with AR, VR, and combine the companies, both the services of both my companies, to operate from sitting, let's say, from Stanford or Harvard. Surgeons can actually operate on patients sitting in Bangladesh. So that's where my vision is, and that's where I want to see my company going. So telemedicine is huge. We have actually built a telemedicine robot, and we are planning to implement that soon in Bangladesh. So my goal, that is to educate the ecosystem about the latest technologies, try to fulfill the shortage of engineers and developers. I want to motivate more and more women and men to get into technology, because technology is the future, and that's what we're heading. That's where we're heading towards. I want to use the pool of talent in our country to build robots and sell it globally. We will be designing robots in Silicon Valley, California, and we plan to manufacture it in Bangladesh. My plan is to create a global brand. My plan is to combine the services of both companies, ConfigRbot and ConfigVR, to specialize in using AR/VR with robotics, as AR, robotics, and VR can team up to develop innovative applications for various organizations. One of my main goals is to build the bridge between US and Bangladesh and utilize the talent we have in both countries. I have been living in the States for almost 18 years now, and I belong to Bangladesh. So I would like to take the talent of both countries, combine it, and help Bangladesh grow and have our dreams fulfilled in the tech world. This is a small, short video of the services that we provide. So I think that's the end of my presentation, and I would again like to thank Bangladesh Innovation Conclave to invite me today, and hopefully my speech was a little helpful for the betterment of the country. We are trying our best from the global sector and from government sector and from the private sector to bring Bangladesh up as a tech hub compared to our neighboring countries. And I would like to play a big role in a part of it. So that's what my vision is. And thank you everyone so much. Hope you all enjoyed my presentation. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.